example. Uh, so, according to the teachings or the legends, it, they believe in Buddhist teachings. We believe that Buddha had so many um, powers to do miracles. And so he used these miracles, ability to do miracles, to teach people. And one time when this young man came, he was talking about beautiful women and young people, just like they tend to do. And so we attract to opposites. And so it's just the nature of things. And so one of the example that Buddha showed him is that he miraculously, um, he performed a miracle that he showed him a beautiful a woman that walking towards him from far away, and this man is looking at this beautiful woman, and as the woman get closer and closer and closer and closer, this image turning into he's showing the changes that occurs, like uh, from a young woman to a, a old person, and until it becomes a skeleton. And so that image helped this young man to realize the changes that happen within us. And this can go to a woman. If it was a woman, that he could have shown how a muscular, good-looking, handsome man, that sort of how that changes so occurs. Because as we discussed earlier, that when we see pleasant things in life, that's really not how our brain works. That's not the way we look at things. Our way of thinking is that we get attached to whatever the present reality, and we think that present reality is so real, and so we get so attached to it. But in there is an underlying the nature that occurs every momentarily, every moment to moment, that we don't see these changes happen. And this is really a big lesson for us to learn. Um, that's why it's a different type of a lifestyle, because uh, and the same time, it's really important to understand too. It's really not about denying that there is that we can enjoy so-called uh, pleasant things in life. That's that's really not the that's not where we are going with this. It's about understanding pleasant things and unpleasant things is not going to last forever. If someone thinks that only pleasant things going to last forever, that person is going to suffer forever. And if someone who going through an unpleasant experience, whether whether with a material thing or um, not material things, um, physiological or psychological, whatever the experience is, and so both of those people are going to suffer equally, because nothing lasts forever. And so that's where this understanding lies. And so in order to understand that, it's really important to see this. And so subhanupassing viharantam, subhanupassing viharantam. And when we only contemplate on that pleasurable things, pleasant things last forever, or our only focus is merely to get to the pleasant things. And the opposite, the funny thing about this also, the people who don't like unpleasant things in life too, like who hates unpleasant experiences, feelings, or the current situations that they go through, their goal also to get pleasant things. And so that's why here on this particular teaching that he um, trying to explain that our tendency, our natural brain created sort of reality for us is that, or the society has created for us, is that pleasant things always bring happiness. That people who goes through unpleasant experiences every day also think that having that having pleasant things rather than unpleasant things going to bring us happiness. It's really not true. This is just two extremes, and so we need to understand that. And so when Buddhist teachings talk about pleasant and unpleasant verses, that it doesn't say that neither of these things are going to bring the happiness or the contentment in life. And so it's the balance that we find in between. That's where that's the contentment and happiness lies. And understanding the pain. If you have a painful, if you get a painful stimulus and you feel pain through it. And so when we feel pain, that understanding that this doesn't last forever, that itself it's a relief. But our tendency is to think, oh my God, and this is going to be horrible, and this is going to be a bad thing. So we are sort of feeding this idea, this thought that we having, and when that happens, the pain itself is we're going to feel even more. And so it's that's why I said it's a different way of looking at it. And this mindful awareness, moment to moment living, is a sort of a skill. And so in Buddhist teachings, this is called kusala. And so when we develop mindfulness practice, when we develop loving kindness as we practice in the guided meditation part, and this at the beginning, that it sort of helps us to develop this set of skills. And so that what that skills does is, when we get attached to anything in life, it just give us a tool to see it. And so this is a skill that we develop throughout this practice. And every time this happens and we are able to see it, we are able to be more mindful about it. And then we have the opportunity to react to it that way. And so it's really important for us to recognize that this sort of understanding that we are talking about, because there is a vast knowledge there. There is huge this information that we gather through these type of conversations, listening to things and learning more about these things allows us to see the true reality as we progress through the practice, as we practice mindfulness or the loving kindness, and we become more gentle towards ourselves rather than becoming too harsh towards us, because a particular experience that we go through in life, really we wouldn't let that particular experience that you are having, you wouldn't that define your life. And so, it's really important to understand that when we understand that uh, whatever your goal in life, whatever you do in life is becoming more sort of like self-evident. It's become something that you have more control over your life and overall your experience, and also you have a positive impact everything that you do in life. And so it's really important as we go through these experiences to see this, and it will improve day to day, minute by minute, our overall quality of our well-being. And so please join with us next week with another episode. We are going to continue this discussion, um, and I hope to see you next week. Thank you very much.